go. Oh, there you are. Well, no surprises what I'm doing today. Going to be playing Look After Yourself from the Paradise album. Going to be doing some isolated bass for you. And I thought I'd drag in my old cohort, Mick Pealing, on the Zoom call. So without any further ado, let's pop in and see what's going on there. Mick Pealing, how you doing today, buddy?
Good to see you, Rog, even though we're in a little...
Yes, a little box.
Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, good to see you too, mate. It's well, look, first of all, welcome to my isolated bass series. And of course, today we're going to discuss the wonderful Stars song, You Better Look After Yourself, and poignant lyric for a poignant time.
Absolutely, yeah.
And just to sidetrack for a minute, you know, we recorded a beautiful album. Look, for those of you that don't know, Stars did reform back in 2017, I think.
That sounds about right.
Around there, yeah, after around about 40 years. And it's just wonderful to be back in the saddle, you know, with the band. Unfortunately, minus Andy. But we have the wonderful Nick Charles, of course, you know, playing wonderful guitar. As I was saying, you know, we just no sooner had we recorded this wonderful album of tunes called, and the album is called One More Circle Round the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hold up a copy of it, only I gave mine away to a friend.
Did you?
I did. I'm that kind of guy, you know.
Well, listen, seeing that we're not sort of promoting it at all at the moment, I've got plenty of copies, so I can spare you one.
Oh, just one would be good. So anyway, look, I digress. I've got to keep on track with You Better Look After Yourself.
Yeah.
But look, yeah, it's a shame because we recorded this fabulous album of tunes, and I think we did 2 gigs, and then bang, coronavirus hit, and we're locked down. So
as usual, great timing on our part.
Yes. But hey, let's talk about the fabulous Andy Durant song, You Better Look After Yourself. And look, I thought maybe we should talk a little bit about the history. I mean, I don't know whether you want to go down that path just a little bit, how you and I actually met, which was, let's just briefly give a quick Stars history leading up to You Better Look After Yourself.
Sure.
The one thing that I remember is I was in an up-and-coming band called Little River Band, doing gigs in Adelaide, and Stars were supporting us.
That's right.
At the is it the Mediterranean or the Med or something?
Oh, you got to remember the actual name of the gig, mate. It was called Countdown.
Countdown. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you're right. It was the Mediterranean Hotel in Hindley.
Yeah. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I do remember is Beeb running into the dressing room one night saying, guys, you got to check out this band on stage. They're fantastic, you know. So we all kind of trundle out and check out Stars, and by the way, you guys were great. And you were probably at that point a 3-piece band. No, 4-piece band.
4-piece band.
4-piece band, yeah.
Yeah, it was, you know, we were right into... free around that time, so we had the same kind of lineup and blah blah blah. But well, that's nice to know. I mean, I knew that Beeb saw something in the band, but I didn't actually realise that he dragged you all out to have a look. And
well, yeah, he was very excited.
Oh, cool!
I'm going to produce these guys. I'm going to make them a hit, you know. He did,
and he did.
He did, yeah.
But of course, he sort of got in touch with Gudinski and recommended us to Gudinski.
Yeah.
And he saw the potential, so signed us up. It was a young label at the time.
Mm.
I think that at the time they mainly had sort of progressive bands like the Dingoes, Chain, bands like that. I think Rene Gayer was in there at the time.
Yeah.
And
right.
Yeah, I think he was looking at maybe you know, spreading the style of the company a bit, and maybe get something a bit more sort of pop oriented in there. So you know, thought we were a good choice. You know.
it's interesting that he had an option to sign a couple of upcoming bands from Adelaide, one of them being Cold Chisel, the other being
That's
Stars.
right. Yeah.
And he chose Stars.
He chose Stars. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, at the time, you could see why he chose Stars. I think we were possibly a little bit more commercial than what Cold Chisel were at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, they were pretty much a blues band. So I can, you know, they were great live and everything.
Yeah, of course.
But he saw more commercial value in us. And I don't blame him, you know.
No, not at all. And of course, the legend of the rock and roll cowboys was born at that point, you know.
That's right.
Guys had a bit of a thing going on, you know.
Yeah, I mean that was started by our manager at the time, Jeff Skews, who's no longer with us. So rest in peace, Jeff. But you know, we were sort of young guys, and we were looking at, you know, sort of making the big time. And Jeff suggested that we needed a gimmick, and that was what he sort of came up with. You know, possibly wasn't a great idea. It was something we went along with. So.
Well, as you do, you know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll keep moving along because I want to get to look after yourself. So, you know, you did Quick on the Draw. It's funny, I dug out some 45s, Quick on the Draw, and then the next one I dug out was With a Winning Hand.
Yes. And
it was produced by Ern Rose, had come With a Winning Hand.
That's right.
And a song called Drift Away on the back.
Which was written by Mel and myself, which is kind of interesting because that was sort of done before Andy joined the band, and it's kind of bordering on country rock. That song, we sort of went more in a country rock style when Andy joined the band. It came time to record the album, and Mel and I were the only songwriters in the band at that time, and we certainly didn't have enough songs to complete a whole album. So we sort of remembered Andy from our days in Adelaide, and we knew that he was a songwriter and a good guitar player, and he'd just returned from a trip overseas. So we asked if he'd be interested in, you know, getting together and maybe seeing what he had, what we had, and joining forces, see if it would work out. And he had immediately, he had Mighty Rocky, had Look After Yourself, plus a couple of others.
Okay. He came well armed, as it were.
Exactly. Yeah. And he thought Mighty Rock would be a good fit for Stars, because at that time, all he knew of Stars was our rock and roll kind of side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is. It's definitely got a that kind of boogie rock and roll chug about it, definitely.
That's right, and that's how he saw Stars at the time. But obviously, when we got into the songwriting, we asked to see what else he had, and he had these beautiful songs like "Look After Yourself," and, you know, "Song for the Road," which was almost bluegrass. You know.
Yeah, and of course, at that time you went. Because I was looking at the credits on the Paradise album, and. Yeah. You obviously went in and recorded Mighty Rock and Jupiter Creek.
That's right.
Yeah, at the same time. That was when you had Michael. I should mention that previous to those songs, you had Graham Thompson on bass.
Yep.
And then Michael Hegarty joined the band, and that's when you recorded Mighty Rock and Jupiter Creek.
I'm just trying to work out exactly how it came about that you joined the band. I'm guessing that it might have been a suggestion from Rick Formosa. Do you think that might?
Look, I think it might have been. It was either suggested from B. Birtles or Rick Formosa.
Yeah.
Both of us departing LRB in 76, mid 76, roughly. Anyway, I joined the band, and bang, I'm out on the road.
That's right.
Yeah,
that was relentless. It
was relentless, mate. 5 up in a Toyota Corona, screaming up the Hume Highway. I remember it well.
It was back in the days when it was way too expensive to fly.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's cut to the chase, which is why we're here. Which is, you better look after yourself. One of the great memories for me about being in Studio 2 Armstrong's recording was being in the studio, looking through the glass into the control room.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of familiar faces. One, Ross Cockle, the engineer, who had engineered two previous LRB albums, and Rick Formosa was in there with his little peak cap on as our producer, you know. So it was familiar territory for me, you know.
That's right.
And I remember Rick kind of really kicking our backsides and really pushing us musically to explore new and exciting ways to play, to approach songs. And hey, Ron, with his Canadian accent, that wasn't very good. But, you know, had you thought about doing a little slap on this, or a little bit of more movement, or get a little funkier, and encouraging me to explore new ways to play bass, and also encouraging Mel to play with maybe a lot cleaner approach. I mean, Mel's guitar tone and style is almost Mark Knopfler in Look After Yourself. That beautiful, clean, sustained licks, you know, country.
Yeah.
Real nice. What are your memories of going into the studio and recording that's the album songs?
Well, as you remember, we were actually doing gigs at the time, so we were actually recording. Like
it was relentless.
Sometimes we go work at Bombay Rock or something like that down in Brunswick, and we come back to the studio after doing a gig and do a bit more recording. And sometimes we'd record before going to Bombay
the gig. Yeah, it was commonplace back then, wasn't it? You know, you kind of had limited budget, limited time in the studio.
Well, that's right. It was a limited budget, so we couldn't really afford to sort of move into a studio and sit there for, 2 weeks or whatever it was. So my memories are pretty much, standing in that massive room, Studio 2, where they used to, record orchestras and all that.
No, that's Studio 1 is the big room. Yeah, Studio 2 is the smaller room.
Still big, though.
Still big. Still big when you're a young guy, yeah.
Yes. It all sort of, like the memories of Armstrong's, it all sort of blends into one kind of thing. I can remember.
Yeah, it does.
I remember doing a lot of things in Studio 1.
Oh, yeah.
And in Studio 2. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We were in the smaller studio.
Yeah.
Look, as far as vocals go, Rick gave me sort of, a fair bit of freedom as to what I wanted to do. I don't know whether that was because he possibly hadn't had a lot of experience in producing vocalists. I don't know. But of course, he was right on my back if I was pitchy, a bit out of tune or something. But he gave me a fair bit of freedom.
Yeah, well, dare I say that's because you're a fabulous singer, Mick, and you just have the ability to step up to the mic and this beautiful vocal comes out. And you, I mean, I've been in the control room when you're singing, and we just kind of sit there and go, oh, wow, first take, check that out, hey, that was great, Mick, maybe just a little pitchy on one note, but, so...
Look, I appreciate you saying that, but I sort of listened to a lot of that stuff we did in the early days, and I think, oh, God, I could have done a lot better than that, and I sound so young.
You can hear the beginnings of where you were at when you were in your early 20s, and some of those things that I was doing then, I still do now. Like my little licks that I play, they're embedded in there, and it's probably the same with you. Yeah.
I can say exactly the same. And naivety is probably the right word. But yeah, there are certain licks that I did back then that I still use today.
Still do, yeah. They become part of, deeply embedded in how you play and what you do, which is...
That's right.
That's a good thing. Now, one thing I noticed about Look After Yourself, the lyrics on the back of the album are incomplete, as they are. Yes, as they are on the internet. There's only half the last verse.
Right.
And I've just done a bit of a search, and the verse that says, yeah, there's new horizons that you've never seen. You're just a prisoner of your foolish dreams. You recover.
You recover without me, then you discover that you're free. Yeah. So that's not there.
That is not there, and when you search the lyrics online, it's not there either.
Oh man, that's That's incredible.
I just discovered that, yeah. So what I'm asking you is, was that a rewrite? Was that something that came up later on, or just?
Absolutely not. It was the proofreader's fault, obviously.
Yeah, they've obviously looked at that, and that's what's ended up on the internet, the incomplete lyric. Interesting. Yeah. There's something I've just
that
discovered.
Is interesting.
Yeah. Now, the other bit that I wanted to ask you was, obviously Andy wrote the song.
Yeah.
Tell me this, when he first played the song to the band, did he sit down with the guitar and sing the song to you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
He did that with all his songs, you know.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool. I would have loved to have experienced hearing Andy sing the whole song, because, which leads to my next question. Was he always going to sing the bridge? All the times that you said that you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I can't really recall how that came about. It possibly could have happened in the studio. Maybe Rick wanted a bit more of his beautiful voice on the album, and he might have made the suggestion, or it might have come about in rehearsals. I'm not sure. I cannot answer that one, Roger.
Look, I can't either. I've been racking my brains about gigs and rehearsing, and
I'm certainly glad it happened, though.
Sorry, but
I'm certainly glad it turned out that way.
Yeah, and is that the same with West Is the Way? Was that something that you were going to sing? I do remember Andy being encouraged to sing it, and I just wondered whether he was always going to sing West Is the Way.
Yeah, well, he would have shown us the song originally by singing it himself, and we would have been, knocked out. And that probably would have stayed with us until the time came to record it. And the suggestion would have come up from somebody. It wouldn't have been Andy, because he was too modest to.
Yeah, he probably would have shied away. I seem to recall him singing it and coming into the control room and kind of being a bit shy about it. And I think Rick was saying, "No, man, it's really cool. It's really good. Like it's got a real vibe." And then to get him to go out, and I know I've digressed talking about West Is the Way, but I love the fact that he double tracks his vocal at the very end when he goes up the octave and he's double tracked. That's just so cool. There's a certain, there's a real urgency, and it's something about the way the vocal zings at that point when he goes up the octave,
Yeah, and those lovely string bits from Rick as well. Just good. Yeah.
And of course, the other thing that I love about Look After Yourself is the beautiful pedal steel part played by Mike Burke. Mike Burke, yeah. Who I think might have appeared on an LRB album somewhere along the line. It might have been on After Hours. I think he's on one song.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, he's a gorgeous player, and
he is.
And I do believe it was one take. We weren't in the studio for all those kind of overdubs. We were out on the road.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean the same thing happened with when Lindsay and Chrissy Hammond came in to do those female parts. The backing vocal. No, we were, in Sydney probably or something like that.
It's funny. I don't remember us being there watching them, but in my mind, I was there looking at them sing. In my mind.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I know what you're getting at there, Roger.
You know where I'm coming from. Oh, they were a couple of beautiful women, and the fact that they were sisters and one had the blonde hair and the black, there was a real thing going on there.
I mean, that was something obviously decided by Rick in the studio. And I'm not really sure whether he asked our approval or not, but we heard the finished product.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just kind of remember going, "Oh wow, check that out!" The pedal steel. Oh, some female singers.
Yeah.
I seem to recall being there when the strings were recorded for West Is the Way, but I could be wrong. Once again, you just visualize yourself being there, and I might be getting that confused with another session,
Yeah.
And I'm glad that some of the photographs that appear in this collage, I actually took these photographs in the studio. I mean, I took that one, that one, and I know I took that one, and that's the one I'm talking about. The photograph of me looking through the glass into the control room, and there's that's Fat Cat. Ross Cockle, Ross Cockle, or what, I can't tell, it's backwards for me, and Rick Formosa. So yeah, it was really nice to get those photographs on the record, as it were, you know.
Yeah, it's a nice collection.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to talk about the actual lyric and Look After Yourself.
Oh, well, we did. Yes, please.
Yeah, a lot of people sort of figure it's a lovely sort of love song kind of thing with this beautiful melody and all that kind of stuff. But it is really Andy having a go at somebody. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not sure who it is, who the person is, or whether it's reality or something he made up. But it's actually not. It's not a nice song. It's actually.
Oh, you're right. It's not, even though it's such a beautiful song, and it's a lot of people's favourites. But
yeah,
I mean, you can take the positive. Like, you better look after yourself because nothing stays the same. If you can't run with the tide, you got yourself to blame. That's kind of positive, but yeah, he absolutely has a go.
He's having a go at somebody.
Yeah.
But, it's like for instance, a Sting song in The Police. You know, Every Breath You Take. I mean, a lot of people think that's a nice song as well, but it's actually a song about possession.
It's almost the stalker song.
It's a stalker song, yeah. And people play that song at their weddings, and I'm sure that Look After Yourself gets a go at some weddings as well, because it's a pretty melody, and that disguises the fact that it's not entirely a nice sort of subject.
You did right. I guess that's the art of songwriting, you know, to take a lyric that can have so many meanings to other people, you know.
Yeah, exactly right.
Take a positive or a negative. I mean, I love Andy singing the bridge to "You Better Look After Yourself." Still gets me, you know. Not only in the play of words, which I think are fantastic, but his phrasing of the words, the melody and the phrasing of it, it's just like most unusual. The way he phrases the word, knew what you were doing. Knew what you were doing. Yeah. Just that in itself is an absolute gem. Yeah.
Here's something that you probably didn't know. Well, maybe you did, but you haven't brought it up. But the B-side to Look After Yourself.
Yes, I've got that here. It is
Redneck Boogie.
Redneck Boogie,
which is a live version taken from the Night Moving concert. So you played bass on it.
Oh, you're right, because Redneck is not on this album.
That's right.
You're right. You know, it's funny. I pulled this out this morning, and I went, I did actually see that, and thank you for reminding me. I went, Redneck Boogie.
So that
Night Moves.
So Ian McDonald played bass on the studio version on Land of Fortune, but you played bass on that live version, like before the Land of Fortune album was released.
You're right, because when I listened to because I had to go back and relearn that, and I had to pull up Land of Fortune, and I'm going, I didn't play on this recording, but it felt familiar to me.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, wow, man. I am going to have to go and play this now and have a listen to my recording of it. Wow. That is so cool. So there's two recordings, of one of me and live and one of
That's right.
Yeah. Wow, now there's a bit of trivia.
Yeah, and I actually didn't think that song went back as far as that, but obviously it did.
Well, look, Mick, we should probably, how long have we been going for?
Seems like 5 minutes.
More like 45 minutes. But it's been great. Luckily, the song is only 3.5 minutes long, so You Better Look After Yourself is actually... doesn't do it. 3 minutes and 58. There it is. Ta-da! Yeah, 3 minutes 58. Snap, yeah. So yeah, I'll get into that. I'll run my fingers over a few licks so that I don't make too many mistakes. Nick, it's been wonderful to chat to you. I really look forward to getting back on the stage with you, maybe later in the year, but it's not looking good. Is it?
It's not looking real good at all, mate.
Not if you're living in Melbourne, Victoria.
No.
We've had a few spikes of the dreaded virus. Consequently, I'm still absolutely in lockdown.
Yeah.
And I've been giving myself haircuts, and obviously you haven't.
You've been giving yourself haircuts.
Yeah,
no, mine's...
Yeah, I know, man. That's probably from February, March, yeah?
I'd say so. Yeah, it's, as Paul McCartney says, a tangled beretta.
Yeah.
It's my hair.
Gee, your hair must grow really fast, man. That's incredible.
No, it's like grass.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's not green.
It's not green. No, it's that colour.
That's right, mate.
All right, fellow Capricornian.
Hey, buddy. Good to speak to you, man.
Yeah, good to speak to you. Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on board. And, well, as they say, I'll see you on the flip side.
Got it, mate. See ya.
Bye-bye. Right. Bye. Wow, what a blast that was, talking to Mick in isolation. So I guess without any further ado, I should launch into the song on my beautiful Squire jazz bass, Lake Placid Blue. Here we go. Look after yourself. Take it away, Andy. There you go.
You got worries, that's nothing new. The world won't change around to suit you. You better look after yourself, 'cause nothing stays the same. If you can't run with the tide, you've got yourself to blame. You think you're moving mountains with your love so true, but tell me what happens when the mountains move you. You better look after yourself, 'cause nothing stays the same. If you can't run with the tide, you've got yourself to blame. All the times that you said that you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, Andy.
You didn't quite mean it the way I thought you did. No, no, no. I can see behind your words that you had a plan of action that wasn't quite the same as what you said. Yeah, there's new horizons that you've never seen. You're just a prisoner of your foolish dreams. Well, you recover without me, then you discover that you're free. Oh, you better look after yourself, 'cause nothing stays the same. If you can't run with the tide, you've got yourself to blame. Don't you blame me. Yourself, 'cause nothing stays the same. If you can't run with the tide, you've got yourself to blame. better look after yourself, 'cause nothing stays the same. No, no. If you can't run with the tide, you've got yourself to blame. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful song. Makes my heart sing, and I just put my hand on my microphone. Sorry about that. Well, I think I did okay on that. It's interesting going back, revisiting a song you recorded, 35, 40 years ago, all the little fills and all the little things that you do. I have to say, really nice drumming from Glyn Dowding on this track. It's just, there's a beautiful, because it's not a rock song, and it's a beautiful light touch to it. And of course, Mel Eastick's beautiful, slightly driven but clean guitar solo in the middle, and all those beautiful licks in the middle. They're just stunning. And of course, what can I say? It's an Andy Durant song, and beautiful harmonies, and the way he sings that bridge, it still tugs at my heart when I hear him sing that. So I guess that's probably about it. But the only thing I'd like to say about the song and my bass playing approach, obviously I'm playing, it's a country rock driven song. I do like how the chorus morphs. The first chorus I play, you better look after yourself, just straight B's and C's. Second chorus I play, the next chorus and the last choruses, I kind of really break out and start playing arpeggios. 2, 3, 4. So there's some really nice kind of trills and lines where I'm following some of the vocal. I do like the bit where I play "You Recover" or "You Discover." Little lines like that. So I'm quite flowery in places, even though it's underpinned by Dock of the Bay. Yeah, so I still get immense pleasure playing that song. So look, I hope you enjoyed the rave with me and Mick earlier on, and I hope you got something out of this video. Musicians, singer-songwriters, bass players, the lot of you. I hope you enjoyed it, because I know I did. So see you on the flip side, and that's a wrap. That's it.